Jake Piseno has risen to be one of the best pulls in the country in the last 2 years and still remains criminally underrated. In the 2024 preseason top 50, he was only ranked 49th in the country after being named Defensive Player of the Tournament at the World Games. Standing at 5'8", he's deemed undersized by most analysts, yet he doesn't play like it. He's characterized by an insane over-the-head checks and a better shot than most offensive players in the country. In the 2024 season so far, he leads the country with 23 caused turnovers with only 7 games under his belt. On top of that, he has 5 goals and 31 ground balls. All of these flashy stats tend to overshadow the fact that he's also a lockdown defender with amazing footwork. Today I'm going to show you why Jake Piseno is the most dynamic defender in college lacrosse. Here's our first clip.
Right now they've got a hold on Schellenberger. It's like they're going to play man.
Piseno! What a check!
To start, I like how Piseno makes a deep approach here and doesn't give Schellenberger much room to work with or space to accelerate. When Schellenberger splits to the left, watch how Piseno opens up and senses the pick. Since he approached Schellenberger so far out, he has room to get under the pick and not get hung up on back of the cage. Once he gets this cushion under the pick, he can assess which way Schellenberger is going to split. He then waits to make contact once he hits GLE and then delivers his hit. As Schellenberger drives in, he throws an insane over-the-head check to strip the ball. There's a couple key fundamentals in this check though. First is timing. Schellenberger thinks Piseno is going to come into a V-hold, so he leans in trying to get topside. As Piseno senses this, he knows it's time to throw it. By jumping up, Schellenberger is no longer leaning against anything, so all of his weight shifts forward and his stick shows in the backside. This opening allows Piseno to get the takeaway check. Here's our next clip.
Turnovers, 5 ground balls. Virginia careless with the ball right now. Albany trying to take it away. Piseno gets it over.
There's a couple of subtle things that I like about this ground ball from Piseno. First is just the fact that he went for it. A lot of pulls would see this distance and assume that the midi would pick it up before they got there. Because Piseno is pretty far from his man, he has to close the distance with his stick. Watch how he throws a slap on his man's right side and then bumps over to his left side. The midi feels the pressure on his right side, so he closes up and tries to block Piseno out. This leaves his entire left side exposed, allowing Piseno to shift sides and make a play on the ball. As a trailer on ground balls, use your pull length to your advantage and play on both sides of the body because the on-ball player has no idea what side you're on. Here's our next clip.
Through X, Schellenberger with it. Piseno guarding him one-on-one, a matchup.
Schellenberger attacks Piseno at X here, and there's a couple of small things in this coverage I really like. To start, Piseno does a good job of throwing an initial poke just to get Schellenberger to pick a direction. Throwing a poke check like this has no intention of getting a takeaway. The whole point is to force your man into action. Don't treat it like a takeaway check, or else you're going to get your stick hung up and lose positioning. Schellenberger then drives up towards the razor pick. A pick at this position on goal line extended is so dangerous because the dodger becomes a shooting threat a couple steps above it. This forces the defender to either over the pick or switch the pick. Piseno senses the pick and knows to get through it he needs space above, so he jams Schellenberger out, allowing him to get over the pick. Without making contact before, he probably would have hit the pick and been left in a trail position. Here's our next clip.
Gabe Millen playing at McDonough for his brother Brent.
While his check didn't take the ball away, it made good contact and is low risk. As an LSM, this is one of the best low risk open field checks you can throw. The whole basis is you pretend like you're going over the head and you come back down in front because the midi is trying to hide their stick. A couple of keys here. The check is most effective in one fast motion like Piseno does here. Some guys will waggle their stick above for a while, but all this does is give the dodger time to realize what's happening. The second key is to punch your hands to the sky so that the dodger can't see your stick and then come down hard in front. Think about checking down to open space. You want to come down before the midi has even moved his stick in front. Here's our next clip.
Here's Piseno. He takes a shot. Morris is ready. Tracks the bouncer the whole way. Second chance.
Piseno comes down on offense and shoots from deep and gets saved. What I like about this clip though is that he doesn't sub out with the other omids. He recognizes Virginia doesn't have possession yet, so he stays on knowing he has numbers. Once that ball comes to X, he sees that man advantage and cuts to the cage for an easy dump. Here's our last clip.
Feeds it off. Piseno
looking for the return.
Here's Piseno, fires!
Honestly, not too much to learn from this clip. This is just showing how ridiculous of a player he is. What you can take away though is how he plays the numbers advantage. Here we have a 5-on-4 and Piseno dumps it to the trailing midi. His man then shifts and plays ball. What Piseno does well is follow the slide. What this does is it makes the slide to him way longer, giving him an open space to shoot. He then catches and then has a sick shot to the top corner. Jake Piseno continues to prove that he is one of, if not the best defenseman in the country. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more film breakdowns.